it was like a boom, like a bomb or something went off, and it shook the house.
From what I've seen so far, this is the most badly damaged part of at least Abilene.
Surveying the damage from the storm as Abilene residents clean up and cope following this week's severe weather. Good evening and thank you for joining us for KTXS. I'm Ashley Paredes. We're broadcasting from our sister station again today as our Abilene station is still working to recover from significant damage during Sunday night's storm. But Mother Nature won't keep us from our commitment to bringing you news that's important to you. Well, Big Country is eyeing the risks for storms tonight, so we're going to check in first with meteorologist Michael Crowley. Michael.
I'm meteorologist Michael Crowley. We have a couple more days of dealing with some thunderstorms before we're finally into the clear where we have some drier conditions awaiting us. Not any severe weather because we've had our fair share of it recently. Let's take a look at what's going on for the rest of this evening. Unfortunately, we do have the low-end threat of seeing some strong to severe thunderstorms. I think most of them are going to be below that severe criteria, especially down towards the south. We're going to keep an eye on that. Rain chances are relatively low, but there is still a chance that we see some pretty heavy downpours, especially later on this evening. Level 1 out of 5 right here in the green, level 2 out of 5 in the yellow down there. All of that's out of our region. We're going to be watching primarily near, near San Angelo, Brownwood, Snyder. Abilene may catch a couple of those strong thunderstorms. Something to keep an eye on, though, is what's happening tomorrow. Another risk of seeing possible thunderstorms with flooding concerns. I'm breaking it down for you in just a bit.
I'm Tori Garcia. Behind me, you can see just some of the damage caused by Sunday night's strong storms. And the National Weather Service in San Angelo is still surveying the Abilene area to determine whether this destruction was caused by strong winds or something much greater.
I can't describe what it sounded like. I can tell you what I felt. I mean, it was like a boom, like a bomb or something went off, and it shook the house.
Severe storms ripped through Abilene and surrounding counties Sunday night, leaving behind a trail of destruction, downed trees, and widespread power outages. The National Weather Service says wind gusts topped out between 70 to 90 miles per hour across parts of the Big Country, hitting areas like Fisher and Jones County especially hard.
Put a nice little, it pushed my refrigerator in, whatever it was. It knocked the hole on the inside of the house.
In Abilene, damage was widespread, but one of the hardest hit buildings was the KTXS news station itself. The roof partially collapsed and the station's tower was bent in half by the wind.
Well, I'm seeing some pretty severe damage to this building. Right now, we're still trying to determine if it's straight line wind or tornado damage.
While the damage to the station was drastic, the Weather Service says more surveys are underway across the city.
From what I've seen so far, this is the most badly damaged part of at least Abilene that we've visited so far, but we still have to visit some other parts of the city.
The atmosphere Sunday night was primed for chaos. Harrison says it was set up for Hurricane Force straight line winds and possibly a tornado.
Yesterday we had some really severe thunderstorms that moved through the area. It was an atmosphere that was very conducive to very strong straight line winds. We were advertising hurricane force type wind event from these storms that were going to move through the Big Country region.
Cleanup and recovery efforts are in full swing here in Abilene, and the National Weather Service of San Angelo hopes to release its official survey data soon.
Well, as the severe weather season continues, local officials in Snyder want you to know where to go if a tornado warning is issued. One spot is the fire station basement at 1911 27th Street. The other is the bottom floor of the courthouse at 1806 25th Street. These will open up as storm shelters if a tornado threat is imminent. We're told shelters at Hermline ISD and Era ISD may also be activated. Once the storm passes, the fire station will serve as the emergency operations center for city and county response. The City of Snyder Office of Emergency Management urges people to stay weather aware and follow official alerts to stay safe. With all the storm damage Abilene has seen recently, you may be looking to hire a contractor. The Better Business Bureau has some advice to help you find the best option. First, do your research on your project. Once you narrow down what type of contractor you need, it'll be easier to choose who is right for the job. Second, know your budget. Not only will this help you avoid being scammed, it could also help you save money once you decide on a contractor. Third, review previous work and check references. This will ensure you're hiring someone trustworthy. For more advice, visit our website, KTXS.com. And an update now on the damage at our KTXS news station. Insurance adjusters and professionals from the city of Abilene have been in and out of the building all day. David Ostemo, who is the senior regional engineering director for our parent company, Sinclair Broadcast Group, is helping to determine the building's fate.
There's a distinct danger in the building. There's a possibility of additional wall collapse, especially when we have additional rain and wind coming. Who knows what else that could blow loose. It's not a safe place to be at the present time. We're operating very carefully, very mindfully while we're in those affected areas.
There's still more equipment to get out of the building before more storms hit the area, as it's already unstable. Ostemo encourages employees and the community to stay away for your safety.
On Sunday night, the KTXS station was hit by severe weather that left much of our equipment and resources destroyed. Abilene Christian University stepped in, and they're letting us use their state-of-the-art facilities. The journalism department head says having KTXS here at ACU is a full circle moment.
Many of the students that we have that are professionals in large markets started their careers at KTXS, and so for us, we want to be able to help because we also know KTXS helps us.
Kenneth Pybus says he didn't think twice when he saw the station in need.
It was definitely a no-brainer. I was very happy to help.
Some KTXS employees are actually ACU alumni.
You know, it's neat. I've been out to the studio at KTXS. I've taken students there and shown them around the facility, and so it's kind of funny to have former students come back here and to work for KTXS.
Pybus says when you share the same values, you're really all on the same team, and what matters is keeping the community informed.
I'd already seen on Facebook the damage to the studio, and already was feeling bad for KTXS. And so when Will called, I was very happy to offer our studio and to offer our space. We're in the same business. We're all about serving the community, all about making sure people in the community know what's going on. And so I was happy to be able to help.
Sunday night's storm left our broadcast tower in pieces and our building flooded and unsafe. But the show must go on. ACU has a state-of-the-art facility where our reporters and crew are working.
We have the ACU TV studio where we shoot live game day production. We do halftime shows in here. We do interviews, and much of our stuff, much of the things that we produce go out over ESPN Plus during a football game or during a basketball game.
Pybus says while there's no good time for something tragic to happen, this is a slow season for the university, so they're happy to lend a helping hand.
So we don't have a lot going on in the studio during the summer. We have students that are in and out of this room during the semester every day, but it's kind of perfect timing for us to be able to offer the studio to KTXS because nothing's going on right now.
We're taking things day by day, and right now there's not a timeline for if and when our building will be restored.
Yeah, great collaboration there to keep the news going. Well, authorities have now identified the body found near Mineral Wells Crossing as a missing man from Cristoval. 39-year-old Abram David Clark had been reporting missing for several days before his body was discovered last Thursday. Investigators are still piecing together the circumstances surrounding Clark's disappearance and what led up to his death. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Tom Green County Sheriff's Office. That number 325-655-8111. ICE protests heating up in Dallas. Demonstrators are heard shouting several anti-ICE and anti-Trump chants for several hours Monday night. Police are seen restraining one person on the ground before multiple officers with riot protective gear try to break up demonstrators, declaring the Dallas rally a, quote, unlawful assembly and warning them to leave. At least one person was arrested there. And in Austin, police used tear gas to disperse protesters demonstrating against ICE. Governor Greg Abbott says at least a dozen people were taken in. He reminded demonstrators that peaceful protesting is legal, but once they cross the line, they will be arrested. And amid the violent protests in Los Angeles, U.S. lawmakers are reacting to President Trump's move to mobilize the National Guard there. The GOP says it shows ICE needs more resources, while Democrats say it's a distraction. The Pentagon pointing out 2,000 members of the National Guard are needed. They join hundreds of Marine Corps personnel already there. That's in addition to troops who were called in by Trump late Saturday. President Trump is pressing Republican leaders here in Texas to consider how congressional district lines can be redrawn ahead of next year's midterm elections. That's according to the New York Times, which reports the focus is on protecting the House GOP's narrow majority. But some Republicans in the state worry it could backfire, peeling away reliable GOP voters from one red district to flip a democratically controlled one, could endanger other Republicans. Texas Republicans, though, are showing little interest in any changes. The New York Times is also reporting that those pushing the plan believe Republicans could pick up as many as 4 or 5 House seats next year. To make that possible, they'd likely endanger already red seats. That's especially true given the 2026 midterm could be one that is favorable for the Democratic Party. Republicans already hold a 25-12 advantage in the state's House delegation. Republican Governor Greg Abbott would have to call a special session to redraw maps. Texas House Democrats tell the Times that could happen in July. Summer is a fun time to hang out with friends and family out on the lake. But boating, keep in mind, can be dangerous. What you need to know to stay safe next.
I'm Brenna Gibbons. This summer, many people are going to be going out on the lake and wanting to go tubing or water skiing. But it's important to be careful because accidents can happen. A 23-year-old Abilene man died Friday after being hit by a boat's propeller while tubing on Possum Kingdom Lake.
Things about boats that we forget is roads have lanes, designated lanes and things like that. With open water being like that, you have to be more careful and more vigilant when you're operating a boat, and we want to stress that with people.
Texas Game Warden James Cummings says that if you plan on towing someone behind your boat, they always recommend to have a spotter for safety.
Even if you're a good operator, you're checking your mirror behind you, you're not focusing in front of you, and there could be swimmers, other boats, items in the water, low water areas that weren't low last week. So we always recommend a spotter if available when towing. But the law states you have to have a mirror or a spotter.
In the tubing accident that happened with the Abilene man, the driver was drinking while driving the boat and was charged with intoxicated manslaughter with the vehicle. Cummings stresses the importance of not drinking if you're driving a boat.
Just like in a vehicle, there is boating while intoxicated. It's the same teeth. It's the same law as driving while intoxicated. You can't be .08 or above. Like say you have a DWI conviction, you get a boating while intoxicated conviction. Those enhance. So we always stress people, mind your alcohol consumption, and try to always have a sober driver that's taking boat or ed.
If you do go out on the lake this summer, be careful so accidents like this don't happen to you.
I'm meteorologist Michael Crowley. Only a few more days are left before we are done with all of these thunderstorms and possible severe weather, flooding concerns, and we're pushing that off towards East Texas. That's their problem. What we're going to be dealing with for now, though, is a low-end severe threat, especially down towards the south, but change is on the way. Down towards the south near St. Angelo, Snyder, Brownwood, maybe even Abilene over towards Midland, and farther down towards the southwest of us near I-10. That's where we're going to be watching for the potential of some thunderstorms, potentially strong to severe at times. So let's go forward in time as we plan out the rest of our evening. evening. As you can see, a lot of that activity is right down towards the south of I-20, maybe gliding across the middle of the I-20 corridor. Abilene, again, we may catch a couple of those stronger thunderstorms, but I think a lot of it will be down towards the south, especially near San Angelo and Brownwood. Could be catching a couple strong cells here and there. As we go into the overnight period, look at the time frame. This is 3 a.m. I am sick of seeing these late night events just the same as you guys are, but we are going to be keeping an eye on another one coming in through for tonight. So if you enjoy sleeping during thunderstorms, it's going to be a great night for you. Unfortunately, that one storm that went through that destroyed a good portion of Abilene, we have to keep an eye on all this stuff because it's very dangerous to have this kind of weather moving in during the overnight period, and we're going to watch this very closely. I do think this is going to be mostly sub-severe, but I think we may see a couple severe thunderstorm warnings here and there. As we go into the morning time, the sun has risen at this point. We see an added boost in activity. Once that sun comes up, re-energizes the atmosphere. We start to see some more thunderstorms forming up at that point, and they re-energize, but by that time, a lot of it will be well over towards our east. Some very heavy downpours are possible during the day on Wednesday. We have a level 2 out of 4, excuse me, for flash flooding and a level 1 out of 5 for possible severe weather. But that's going to be well down towards the south once again. We're watching this area near Brownwood and San Angelo. But today, going into tomorrow, still looking at potential flash flooding concerns. These storms are not going to move very quickly. And I just went over 2 days, and this system is still in our area. So be mindful. If you see any flooded roadways, just turn around. Don't drown. It's not worth it. Just arrive alive and just make sure you're safe as we head out into this rest of this week, because we get quiet after this. Plenty of sun returns with temperatures in the 90s.
Could the secret to a longer life be found with soil, shovel, and flowers? The benefits of gardening next.
Good evening, Big Country. The summer for college football teams is usually reserved for rest, recovery, and preparation for the upcoming fall season. But with the severe weather that hit the Big Country earlier this week, the HSU Cowboys will add restoring their stadium to that list.
Well, I was surprised at how much damage we had to the wall behind me, but at the same time I was relieved that it wasn't as much damage as the hailstorm we had 10 years ago when so much of our campus had quite a bit of damage. And so this is certainly a pretty significant issue, but we've had the weather do a lot worse than this here in the past, so I was relieved that it was somewhat confined to this area.
And while the process of bringing Shelton Stadium back to its former glory is going to take time and patience, the support that these Cowboys have gotten throughout the Big Country is just going to help them continue their ride.
I think it says a lot about our campus, not only the athletic program, but just Hardin-Simmons in general. And I think people really feel like this is a home to them. And I think that they wanted to reach out and check in on a place that they considered their home. And so it was really nice to have that support from afar. And I know it meant a lot, not only to me, but to our coaches.
And with all the crazy weather that's happening outside, it's a good time to head indoors, and that's exactly what the ACU women's basketball team is doing as they host their youth camp.
The best thing about our basketball camps is just introducing young ladies to the sport of basketball. A lot of them have played before, but we also have a big number that have never played organized basketball before. And so we're just trying to really teach them about the fundamentals, give them some drills they can do when they go home, whether it's working on ball handling, working on shooting form, defensive slide, things that they don't have to have someone lead them through. And so we think that we provide a really good camp for all the campers in the Big Country and want to do it in a way that honors Christ as well.
And while it's a good chance for the kids to work on their skills, it should help bring the 2025-2026 Cats closer together before tip-off next season.
We have access to our players for 2 months in the summer, so all of our players are here to work at camps. And it really gives us a great opportunity to get to know them. There's a lot of team bonding that goes on in the summer, and camp is no exception. I mean, our players working together at camp, being on a camp staff, I think helps them get to know one another, and it's really a lot of fun just having everybody here. But we do have 6 brand new players that we're really excited for the Big Country and for our fans to get to know them. And Like I said, just spending this time with them in the summer is really helpful for us, just building early chemistry and teamwork in the summer before we really get busy with classes and actual basketball workouts.
A new report says gardening may help you live longer. Medical reporter Liz Bonus explains.
Hey there, everybody. It is one of the top trends this year, partly because horticulture or gardening has so many body benefits. It is therapy for both physical and mental health.
There's something nice about digging. I don't know what it is, but something nice about digging.
Laura Goodell is right. If you dig into the health benefits of gardening, the first benefit, the soil itself. Researchers at the University of Texas at Austin report it may have beneficial microbes. These are tiny living things that appear to help keep your immune system strong.
We built it up a lot this year, and it's been a real good project.
Laura and others are part of this community garden at Ohio's Life Enriching Communities Twin Towers. Those who live here run, fund, and work the garden.
The benefits of this garden is that it fosters resident involvement and in multiple ways of wellness, emotional wellness, social wellness, physical wellness.
And that physical wellness, the second benefit. It may be so good for movement and quality of life that researchers in the UK are funding green prescriptions. These are test areas to see if people who work them live longer.
We've put in a lot of our plants already, and now it's getting into maintenance time and just making sure everything flourishes.
And then there's the mental health benefit. Outdoor time boosts your serotonin or your feel-good hormone.
All right, everybody, let's get some big smiles.
Not to mention the camaraderie that comes with a shared purpose.
And finally, gardening can give you a feeling of accomplishment, this team says, especially if you're patient enough to give it grow time. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
We want to thank you for watching KTXS and thank you for being patient with us as we cope with recovering from the storm damage at our Abilene station. You can count on us for your news, weather, and sports, and stay up to date any time of the day right here on KTXS.com. Have a good night.